I bet you didn't know that one man's courage could ignite hope in the darkest corners of a nation. In a world suffocated by the long, choking shadow of apartheid, Nelson Mandela became the spark that set millions free. A time when race determined not only your rights, but your very humanity. In that world, one man stood not as a soldier, nor as a king, but as a prisoner, and yet, he became the voice of freedom for millions. This is the story of Nelson Mandela, the man who refused to hate, even when the world gave him every reason to. Born in 1918 in the small village of Mvezo, Mandela was a child of tradition and pride. But the fire of justice burned in him early. At university, he questioned authority. In the streets of Johannesburg, he saw the brutality of segregation firsthand, and in the halls of the African National Congress, he began to fight it, with words, with rallies, and eventually with underground resistance. Mandela became a symbol of defiance. The government called him a terrorist. The people called him Madiba, a name of deep respect. In 1962, he was arrested. In 1964, sentenced to life imprisonment. As he stood in court, he spoke calmly, defiantly. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. For 27 years he was locked away, first at Robben Island, then in other jails. He missed his children growing up. He endured backbreaking labor, isolation, and the cold eyes of his jailers. But he never yielded. He studied. He listened. He negotiated. He forgave. While South Africa burned in riots and rage, Mandela's calm voice began to echo even louder from behind bars. The world took notice. Free Mandela became a global cry. And finally, on February 11, 1990, the prison gates opened. A thin, gray-haired man walked out, not with a fist of vengeance, but with an open hand. Mandela knew revenge would tear the country apart. He preached reconciliation instead of retaliation. He met with his enemies. He shook hands with the men who once called him an enemy of the state. In 1994, in the first multiracial elections in South African history, millions voted freely. Black, white, rich, poor, they voted for hope. And Nelson Mandela became South Africa's first black president. Mandela served only one term. He believed in stepping down, not clinging to power. But his impact didn't end with office. He became a global statesman, a humanitarian, a moral compass for a world struggling with division. He championed AIDS awareness, children's rights, peace in war-torn nations. He reminded the world that true strength lies in forgiveness. Mandela died in 2013. But his influence lives on, not just in statues or quotes, but in the idea that one person can bend history with grace, dignity, and courage. It always seems impossible until it is done. Nelson Mandela didn't just change South Africa, he changed what humanity believes is possible.